Hello, everyone. Brady, Charlie, Garrett. We're here. We're we're delivering to you the state of the NXT, episode 4. So it's been just over a year since our last state of NXT, and it's crazy how much the landscape has changed. And I was just listening back to our episode 3 from last year, and we were talking about, Garrett and I were going back and forth on Shayna Baszler a lot last year. And I was like, dude, she's going to be great. I can't wait. Garrett's like, I just haven't really seen anything from her, to put her in his top 5. It's just kind of funny that, and then to see the year that she had, and there were so many countless occasions of that. Like last year, let's break down where we were a year ago. So a year ago, we were having the lead up to the next takeover, which was going into NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. So about a year ago today, these are the matches that we had and the results at NXT TakeOver January 2018. So we had Nikki Cross defeating Lacey Evans. We had TM61 defeating the Ely brothers. We had Roderick Strong defeating Tyler Bate. And that was for the number 1 contender for the UK Championship. We had Undisputed Era defeating the Authors of Pain to win the tag team championships, or just to defend them, I should say. So that goes to show, like, Authors of Pain have been stewing for like that long. They came up not long after that. We had Velveteen Dream defeating Cassius Ohno. That was basically his first big match, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, one of them. Cassius Ohno is always that gatekeeper. So
yeah, must have been.
Yeah. Ember Moon defeating Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. So this was still pre Baszler Championship. We had Aleister Black defeating Adam Cole in an Extreme Rules match, and Andrade Almas defeating Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. This was Almas's first defense after beating Drew McIntyre in War Games.
That's crazy.
A little over a year ago. So that's where we were just 1 year ago, to think about how far we've come. And also to think about the call-ups haven't been that massive since we've seen kind of the Ronda Rousey coming in. AJ Styles has been doing so well. The return of Daniel Bryan over this past year on the main roster has really made it so that NXT didn't have to call up a bunch of people. And we were talking about that last year, about how we don't see a bunch of strong candidates for call-ups. Whereas this year, we were talking before we went live, we see a lot of strong candidates to call up. We're going to talk about our list of people that are guaranteed call-ups to us for this year, or maybe some surprise people that we've seen or that we're thinking. But it's just crazy to think how much talent there is in NXT right now. There are people that we were ranking our top 5 males, our top 5 females, top 3 tags, and we're going to go over those soon. But making our top 5 male and female is very, very difficult, especially the males, because you could easily make a list of top 5 guys in NXT right now that probably should be on the main roster. So. So let's get right into it. Let's start with our top 3 tag teams, because I feel like we're gonna have a lot of overlap right now. NXT's lacking in tag teams, just based on the fact of they're not forming new tag teams. We've kind of had the same ones, and Undisputed Era has kind of been running everything for quite a long time now. Garrett, Charlie, did either of you guys have anyone other than Undisputed Era as your number 1 tag?
That's negative. Nope. And also, we don't know each other's lists, so this is kind of, it's all a surprise to all of us too. So
yeah, so Undisputed Era, they've got to be number 1, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, do either of you guys see them not getting called up? I know, Charlie, you're thinking. We were talking earlier. You think Undisputed Era is getting called up, but not right away. Is there any reason behind that?
In a way, like you kind of said it, they're gonna build up another tag team, at least 1 more, maybe 2 more, and also they'll probably end up. I see them maintaining like those really late call-ups in 2019, how there's usually 1. Yeah. Well, this year we had 6, but I guess they haven't technically debuted yet, but you know what I mean. I don't know. I just see them really kind of holding out for NXT. Maybe it's after SummerSlam. Maybe it's after Survivor Series. I think it's being one of those things for them where they're the only ones coming out. It's like just them as a debut.
And it's tough, Garrett, because all three guys really are pretty undersized. They're not really what the main roster looks for in size as far as their talent of top guys. It's tough to believe that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly can come in and just beat down some of these bigger tag teams. I mean, are we going to believe that they can come in and beat down the New Day?
Well, certainly not the New Day. They're the longest reigning tag champs of all time. But and this is, I think I even said this on the podcast that we did live yesterday. I don't think they will make it to the main roster at all. Not in the form that we see them. I see them getting split up, and I unfortunately think that will not do anything for any of them. And I don't know what that means for Roderick Strong. But unfortunately, I'm sure they'll try first, but then it'll be a quick split because they realize they aren't going to know what to do with them in the same way they didn't know what to do with Sanity.
I think Adam Cole's the only one that has a chance to be a world champion at the next level. I personally, and you guys know this, I'm a big Kyle O'Reilly fan. I think he's fantastic. I think Kyle O'Reilly would be a very interesting 205 Live champion.
I can see that.
Just a random side note while we're talking about Undisputed Era, because I think this is by far the biggest thing NXT's had in terms of a wrestler or a group. And I truly don't see. I mean, you could debate that with Asuka, but Asuka was doomed to fail with this undefeated thing. Like, I think we could have all seen that she was going to lose to Charlotte or something like that. But I don't know, man. I think this is the biggest thing that they've had in NXT, and I feel like it's going to translate. I mean, Vince wanted to call up Adam Cole at the Royal Rumble a year ago now. Think about that. So, and now they've had even another year, and they've recruited Roderick Strong. I don't know. I feel pretty confident that this group's going to have some success.
I mean, I hope so. It's so weird because we could all easily see Undisputed Era getting up to the main roster and crashing and burning. But we could also see with WWE's big push to try to sign Cody and the Young Bucks, we could see Cody and the Bucks and Hangman Page all in WWE feuding with the Undisputed Era and having some huge feud. With Undisputed Era being the gatekeepers of the WWE, kind of how we saw Triple H and Sting years ago. It's crazy. They could go anywhere. So let's keep with tag teams. My number 2 tag team I had was Street Profits, because I just think Street Profits are going to have a big year. It's their time. They're so entertaining, and with how the landscape looks, it looks like we're going to have more heel teams than face teams, at least credible heel teams, with Undisputed Era staying there. So, Charlie, who'd you have as number 2?
Street Profits.
Anything you'd like to add?
I very charismatic, and they're both very different in the ring. So, yeah.
Garrett's going to mute. So let's talk about your number 3, and then we'll go back and get Garrett's list. Charlie, who do you have in number 3?
I feel like it's going to be the same. War Raiders.
I actually don't. I don't really like.
Really?
Yeah, and this isn't because I don't think they're going to. Because when we talk about our end of 2019 feud, War Raiders are in there as who I think are probably going to be the champions at some point in 2019. I think War Raiders are going to be champions, but I'm personally not a big fan. I'd have them as number 4, but my number 3 is Heavy Machinery.
Oh, see, I didn't put Heavy Machinery in. I would definitely, Heavy Machinery is awesome.
So at number 2, I had Lorcan and Birch.
Nice.
I've been on that tag team for a while. I just haven't seen, I really hope that they don't just get shoved over to the NXT UK brand, but
I believe they're on a winning streak right now, so you might have something.
So maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll be the next title shot because I think they're technically faces, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're Oni Lorcan and Birch they're a really good show opener, similar to how Enzo and Cass were back in the day. So that's someone that they can put on a takeover. If you do Lorcan and Birch against Undisputed Era to kick off a takeover, I think it's money,
Yeah, I was just making sure because yeah, as long as you're correct about them being more of heel heavy than face heavy, then yeah, they should have definitely got a shot and maybe even win, maybe even get the rub of getting a belt at some point, and saying, oh, we got this for a takeover, transition or whatever. That's the great thing about NXT too that we always kind of forget is that takeovers are so far apart that unless it's a title shot on television, you usually have a decent reign as a champion, even if you only get it once. But anyway, and at number 3, I had, of course, my boys, the Street Profits. I've been on them since last year. I think I don't know if we were even talking about them around this time last year, but I think we were, and I think I had them then because I just seen a match with them and I was super into it. So yeah,
they're awesome, man.
They're that team right now where they're not on NXT on a weekly basis, but when they're on there, it shows. And I think that Triple H is being careful with them for the right reason. Like if he can't put them in the title scene right now, he doesn't want them to get overexposed and get boring to people. So I think we all had, I mean, Charlie and I both had Street Profits at 2 and you had them at 3. So that's showing that we think Street Profits, this could be their year, which is awesome. Charlie, let's talk about some of the female talent. Who do you have as your top 5 females to watch in 2015?
Perfect. Yeah, so Io Shirai at number 1.
Nice.
Kairi Sane at 2. And then we got Bianca Belair at 3, Mia Yim at 4, and Shayna Baszler at 5.
Our lists are very different, and I like that. So let's break them down really quick. Where did you have Baszler?
I had her at 5.
So why is Baszler at 5 when she had such a good 2018? Is this based on the fact that you think she's just going to get called up, so she's not going to be on NXT?
I think the other 4 are better wrestlers, and I don't know, the other 4, I just find them more entertaining to me, to be honest, and especially in the ring. I mean, those 4. There's debate about Bianca Belair if you think Baszler's better and whatnot. But I definitely think Shirai, Sane, and Mia Yim. I mean, those 3 are some pretty elite women's talents. I mean, Io Shirai, as far as last year, was considered like the number 1, and Toni Storm was number 2. And guess what? WWE's got them both now. So that's good for them.
and it's funny. It shows our personal preferences, right? Because my list is going to be way more based on characters, which is what WWE kind of went for in 2018. The women, the title picture has mainly not been wrestling focused. It's been storyline focused. And that's why Shayna Baszler has shined so much. Whereas Charlie's going, you know what? These are maybe the top 3 best female wrestlers in the world right now. That's my top 3. Those are the matches I want to see, which is cool. Garrett, who'd you have?
Yeah, I have a very different list than Charlie. So at number 1, I had Baszler because I personally think that title run is one of the best women's title runs we've gotten since Asuka left. At number 4, I had Io Shirai because undisputable, one of the best years in 2018 for sure.
Wait, like you had Io Shirai at number 2, right below Baszler?
Okay, sorry, yeah, at 2.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. And then this is going to be a little out of left field here. At number 3, I had the combination of Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke as the 4 horsewomen. Because I think they have added to what Baszler was capable of doing. Not so much so that they deserve to be even put on the same number 1 spot with her, but they definitely deserve. Because I think that title run probably would have gotten pretty stale if it hadn't been for them. So number 4, this is going to be another, like, this was going to be like way like too low, but I had Kairi Sane at number 4. And then at number 5, I rounded it out with Dakota Kai because I think I went with a combination of what both of you guys did. I went for match quality and storyline quality. So,
yeah, I agree that. And I remember before we went live, you said, I think Dakota Kai deserves a spot in someone's top 5, so you're going to put her in. And even though Charlie and I didn't have her in top 5, I think Dakota Kai at the very least is entertaining. When I've seen her live, I mean, she's at least fun to watch. So. My top 5, I've got Bianca Belair at number 1. I just think this is Bianca Belair's year. I think Baszler is going to get called up sooner, much rather than later. And I think Belair is going to take the title and she's going to run with it. Personally, I think she's gotten so much better. Just in this past year, she's so charismatic. If Velveteen Dream weren't in NXT, I would say that Bianca Belair has the most natural charisma out of anyone in NXT. Number 2, I've got Shayna Baszler. Once again, just respecting what she's done. but she'll be gone sooner rather than later. So I can't really put her at 1 because I don't think she's going to be in NXT the whole year. Number 3, I've got Candice LeRae. I know she's just been kind of a side thought of Johnny Gargano and stuff. Whoa, man. Hey. THOUGHT. All right. So she's been a bit of an afterthought, I guess you could put. And I think that this is the year where they finally recognize her wrestling talent, mainly for the reason I think this is going to be tough for her and Johnny. But I think when we get into call-ups, I don't think there's any way Johnny Gargano stays in WWE or stays in NXT for the entire year either. And I think him leaving and Candice LeRae not leaving NXT, which is my prediction, I think is going to make her really blossom, and it's going to be time for her to fly. Number 4, I've got Kairi Sane. I mean, she's put on decent matches, just not my cup of tea. And number 5, I've got Deonna Purrazzo. I think she was in WWE and then was gone, went on the independents, got way better, came back, and she had the 6-man tag. I don't know why my dad's calling me. I'm gonna. Sorry, Dad. I think. Sorry, Deonna Purrazzo. Jesus, I think she's gotten way better. I think she's got a lot of natural charisma. I think she will probably be in some secondary feuds, and if she really shows up and has a great match, she could really be catapulted into that title feud. Probably won't win it, but she could be someone where not this 2019, but 2020, when I look back, when we make this next year, I'm gonna listen back to this podcast and be like, oh my God, I called it, Deonna Purrazzo on the up and up. So who knows?
There you go.
So Garrett, let's count down 5 down to 1 on your list. So start with number 5, Garrett. Who's your number 5 male?
Oof, this is gonna be controversy. Adam Cole.
Okay.
I have him at 5, mostly because he was in the mid card at the beginning of 2018.
Adam Cole's not in my top 5, so.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But he did win a title, so. But anyway, yeah, that's my. So you want me to go down to my 5, or you want to?
No. So Charlie, who do you got at
5? Velveteen Dream.
Okay.
I mean, Velveteen Dream. He's a megastar, right? I mean, guy bleeds charisma.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. At number 5, I also had Velveteen Dream. So this easily, as I said with Bianca Belair, I think this could be the year of Velveteen Dream. I guess we'll see. But I don't know. Dream. He's still so young. They're trying to, handle him with kid gloves. But I think Dream could be special. And remember, us putting one of these guys at 5 is not saying they're bad. 5 is not saying that we think that this person is bad. 5 means we're putting them over a lot of other great, talented people. Like I said, Adam Cole's not in my top 5. So number 4, I have Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black will be on the main roster by the time 2019 is over. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of him. But Aleister Black, every single match, I love watching. He's such a great worker in the ring. His personality will fit great no matter where he goes, whether it's NXT or on the main roster or 205 Live. As I've heard some people saying, if 205 Live keeps getting this reputation as like a great alternate brand to the main roster, there are more and more people watching 205 Live each week, or at least it's getting a lot more buzz. I think Aleister Black could go in there and really set things off for that brand. Charlie, who'd you have?
And number 4, I got Keith Lee's. Been on NXT now for about 6 months, maybe-ish. Maybe 5, something like that. And every time he's out there, he steals the show. And it's only going to go up for him.
Garrett, who'd you have it for?
At number 4, I had King Ricochet.
Nice. Explain.
Yeah. So Ricochet, while again delegated to the mid card, unfortunately, I think within a year from now, if he's still there, we'll see him holding the NXT championship. I mean, because as much as we try to pretend cruiserweights aren't heavyweights, most of these guys weigh enough weight to get into that division if they actually did actual divisions, and I think Ricochet will become the face of NXT when inevitably somebody or all of Undisputed Era is no longer the face of NXT. Unless, and I would really love this, someone from the women's division were to step up again, like Asuka did to carry NXT for kind of a while, in a lot of ways. But yeah, I had Ricochet.
Nice. At number 3, I had Johnny Gargano. They're two of my top 3. I mean, they're going to be obvious, but I mean, Gargano had such a good year. There's not a single bad match he has. I have to respect it. He has been such a better heel than I thought that he could have ever been. I thought he had to be a white meat baby face. I thought that Gargano had to be that underdog story all the time. Turns out it's not true. He's pulling a Daniel Bryan on us. So I've got him at 3. Charlie,
who's your number 4, Brady? I don't think you gave it to us.
I did. Aleister Black.
Okay. See, I think all right. So at 5, I had Velveteen. 4, Keith Lee. At 3, I have Matt Riddle. Again, he's a little bit newer, but I mean, this guy when you flip him on, you're instantly hooked. Anything he does, I'm completely interested in.
Yeah, keep in mind, if you're watching this back way later, the only thing we've seen from Matt Riddle on NXT television and takeovers is he came out and had his first debut, started the takeover, kicked Cassius Ohno's head off and pinned him 1, 2, 3, and that was it. So that's what we've seen so far from Matt Riddle. It's tough. Garrett, who'd you have at 3?
I also had Johnny Gargano.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you'll understand why I had Gargano there when we get to my next. But I mean, yeah, certainly of my match quality overall, probably the best in NXT if you don't consider what Undisputed Era has been able to do in tag stuff. Yeah, I think Gargano is one of those guys where as soon as they strap something to him, it'll send whatever he's on through the roof. And it won't matter whether people are into it or not. They'll just be like, "Oh, Gargano's got a belt, I'm in," So yeah, I think in the next year we'll see something huge with him.
Charlie, that was surprising to you that we both had him in the top 5.
Yeah, I do not see it anymore, man. I wouldn't put him in. He's like I think there's 9 NXT guys that are elite right now. I think he's number 9.
Wow,
that's nothing against him. I think his time is come and gone.
Huh. Interesting. Garrett, who'd you have at number 2?
I had one Tommaso Ciampa. So, yeah, I knew my list was going to be controversial.
Charlie's surprised again. Charlie doesn't have Ciampa in the top 5 either. I don't think.
Shook at your guys' list right now.
So I think anyone that's trying to pretend like this last year would have been anything close to as good as it was without that backing feud in the background of every takeover is kidding themselves. I'm not saying the matches wouldn't have been as good, but certainly there wouldn't have been the fire under the rest of the roster to get themselves noticed, because that's all Ciampa and Gargano have been trying to do for all of 2018 is get noticed by Vince by doing this amazing feud. So much to the point where Vince inserted that feud into his feud with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. I mean, and it didn't work because they were friends, but they weren't like, we never saw that. So, but anyway, and it's working now only because of Daniel Bryan. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think I would feel like a horrible wrestling reviewer if I didn't give both of these guys credit for the work they did in 2018.
That's the way I feel too. At number 2, I have Matt Riddle. For the reason Charlie said, I think at the end of 2019, Matt Riddle will be the champion. I think this time next year, January 13th, 2020, I think Matt Riddle will be holding the NXT World Championship, and I think it will be substantially into his title reign as well. I think he's just amazing. I don't think there's any other way to put it. Charlie.
All right. Yeah, number 2, Ricochet. The freaking GOAT, man.
I mean, yeah, Garrett already touched on it. You've got Ricochet. You could put Ricochet against anyone. Garrett, what do you say? You could put him against a paper bag?
Yeah.
And I'd watch it. So I 100% agree. So let's get to number 1. I mean, look, I'll get it out of the way since Charlie's going to hate it. I've got Tommaso Ciampa number 1.
No, that's fine. I like it.
Let's be honest here. Tommaso Ciampa was out for the first half of 2018. He was still injured halfway through 2018 when Gargano was feuding against Aleister Black. Ciampa came back better than he was before, put on some all-time classics, with Gargano and then continued after Gargano, is putting on great matches against anyone that he faces. Just the ring psychology that I've seen out of Tommaso Ciampa is something that I have not had an appreciation for since the revival were in NXT. I think that it's a thing of beauty. I love watching his matches, and I have to respect what he's done. Ciampa, Gargano, and Black, numbers 1, 3, and 4, I think are all going to end up on the main roster this year, leaving only Riddle and Dream out of my top 5. But we're talking about state of NXT right now. Who's the best? Right now, who's going to be the best going into 2019? I think all 3 of those guys are going to make an impact, and I feel solid. And it's crazy that Adam Cole and Ricochet were both out of my top 5. But
that's what I'm saying. I think there's about 9 elite guys right now in NXT.
It's crazy.
Like guys that we can truly see holding the NXT championship and being on, you know what I mean? So
none of us have Lars Sullivan.
There's only one elite guy. It's Adam Cole.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Charlie. Who do you guys are number 1?
Yeah, Adam Cole. I think he's
my number 5.
I truly think Adam Cole might be one of my favorite guys I've ever seen, and that's kind of it's always been like that for me, So I love the guy. And then they keep booking him against other great talents, and he keeps going out there just having insane feuds. I mean, look, he's about to face Velveteen Dream at the next. I mean, are you kidding me? That's awesome.
That's gonna be.
So, and it's just a side feud, just because, why not? We'll use them both.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? All right. Garrett, who's your number 1?
Oh, man. I feel like I'm going to get crap for this one. I got Aleister Black.
Oh, why would we give you crap for it? He's so good.
I don't know. I feel like this is one that, after hearing what you guys had to say and where he was on your list, I'm kind of like, well, I guess, because
I didn't have him on mine. Brady didn't have Adam Cole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had him on my list.
Yeah, I didn't have Ciampa.
I had him at number 4. So,
yeah, I just think I can always turn on a takeover and get excited for an Aleister Black match, no matter who it is. Again, paper bag. I'm in. It's like some wrestlers just have that ability to. It doesn't matter who they're in the ring with. Just off the top of my head, people that can do that. Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor sometimes, AJ Styles, and I'm sure I can name a few more, but yeah.
I'd say Rollins, and then you got great folk.
Kenny Omega had a match with an 11-year-old or something, and it was actually rated 3 stars or something like that. So it was yeah. And if you can do that, you're in my favorites list forever. So
yeah. So that's our top 5. I mean, like you said, I think Charlie said there are 9 elite guys. I would put my top 5 plus Ricochet, Adam Cole, and Keith Lee. So who, out of curiosity, Charlie? So I'm gonna list the guys that my top 5 plus those 3, and I want to know who the last guy is. So I had Ciampa, Riddle, Gargano, Black, Dream, Keith Lee, Ricochet, Adam Cole. Who's the 9th?
Dijakovic, Dominic Dijakovic. He just debuted, right? And this guy is, I'm telling you, Brady, you'd love him right away. So this guy, he really made news last year when at PWG Bola, he and Keith Lee had a 5-star match. I mean, this match was the most amazing Big Hoss match. I guess he's not really a big hoss. He's 6'7", and he's jacked now. And it's, I don't know. But yeah, I would say those 9 are guys that right now you could see them doing anything with.
Yeah.
And I mean, theoretically, you could throw Ono in if you're having a top 10, right? So I truly think that NXT is so stacked right now. I left Ciampa off my list, and he's one of my favorites. But I felt like I couldn't not put Velveteen on there.
Isn't it kind of sad now? Do either of us see Ono ever getting called up? I don't. I think he's player coach at this point.
Yeah.
It sucks for him too, because guys no offense to No Way Jose and some of these other people getting called up, but he's so much better.
Is he in any better position than Ty Dillinger would be? Was when he got called up? Would Cassius Ohno do any better?
You should have made them a tag team. I said that once, I think.
How sad. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It's such
what he wants, though. I mean, NXT is nice because Cassius Ohno's getting a little older. I think. I don't know. I think maybe that's what he wants. The tapings. That's why people used to go to TNA back in the day.
Is he is he one of those guys that they might just throw some money at and All Elite, and he gets to keep his old name and he can wrestle like he wants to? I mean,
he tweeted on this actually, which is kind of crazy because someone had made a report saying, "Oh, Cassius Ohno getting ready to dip out," and he's like, "Not happening." Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of his dream to work here, and like Brady said, I think he wants to be a coach when you see like these backstage talking about him and stuff.
Yeah, like a really good leader. Maybe he just likes being at the performance center, keeps him in shape. He doesn't have to leave anywhere. He can live locally, do a taping once a month, and kind of keep his body fresh.
Yeah. Get some really good matches too. So
right now what we're going to do is each of us are going to throw out one person that we really want to see new to NXT. I have two people listed, and I know that you guys didn't have either of them. So I'm going to list one person, then the other person is actually going to be in the last segment that we do. So one person that I think WWE almost needs to jump on is someone that I mentioned on our podcast yesterday. Is that what we did? Yeah. Tessa Blanchard. So Tessa Blanchard, if you're not familiar with her, she is the current Impact champion, right?
Wasn't until like a week ago, yeah.
Yeah, as of like a week ago.
They just hopped it some reason.
She's been doing stuff with so many different companies, wrestling independently for a while, and this is a name people have known Tessa Blanchard for 3-4 years now. She's only 23 years old. She's beautiful. She's got charisma. She has the wrestling ability. And if WWE, I mean, a year from now, AEW, maybe they're a real powerhouse. Maybe they're nothing. But as of right now, AEW, if they were to get Tessa Blanchard and just strap the belt to her and run with it, you could start seeing women from WWE and NXT flock over to AEW. So WWE signing Tessa Blanchard, even if they don't know how to use her right away, is something that, in my opinion, they need to do.
It's almost like a defensive move in a way, where you sign up. And I think that's what you're going to see in the next 6 months is a lot of WWE signing people they probably normally wouldn't have signed, even though they're good. They maybe wouldn't have signed them for a deal. Like you might see some people pop up immediately on the main roster because they want to get them, because they don't want to not give them the deal that they want, because they might be like, hey, these all elite guys, they're offering me less schedule. I might just not, if you just let me, okay, well, you have all the money in the world.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If AEW is actually competitive with money, if Tessa Blanchard were to get offered the same amount of money from AEW and WWE, she'd probably go AEW, right? So WWE has to just bully their way into signing her almost.
Sell more shares. No.
Yeah. So Charlie, who do you have as the person you really want WWE to sign to NXT?
Brian Cage. I mean, we've seen Cage now for a few years. I mean, this guy is. I'm surprised Vince McMahon hasn't seen him and been like, "Get him, bring me the machine." So yeah, he's running it in Impact right now. He just lost. He went for the title, didn't get it, but it looks like they're running it back. So yeah, he's good.
Just in case,
you could bring up highlights of these people we're talking about them.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, if you haven't seen Brian Cage, let me screen share real quick.
Yeah. I was about to say, yeah.
If people are like, I don't know who that is. Here we go.
Because I was gonna do that.
There's Brian Cage.
Big meat.
Literally, look at this guy.
Oof.
How is that not a guy? Look, EC3.
Yeah, exactly.
He towers over EC3.
How is this not a guy that Vince McMahon wants?
And the thing is, I mean, this guy, he's out there doing hurricanranas and
wasn't there controversy with Brian Cage though, Charlie? Wasn't there something?
I think so. Not that I know of.
I'm gonna look it up.
I know he's Lucha Underground for a while, PWG, a longtime indie guy. I mean, he's a grinder, man. And I don't think I've ever seen him in Ring of Honor. I might be wrong there, but unless it's before I started watching.
Yeah, I guess we're good. I don't know. I think I'm thinking of someone else.
Oh, no. I think I know what you're talking about, Brady.
What was it?
I'll send you a link. I don't think we necessarily need to talk about this on the podcast.
Oh, okay. All right. Garrett, who'd you have as the person you really want WWE to sign?
I had Tanahashi. So yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. We all picked. You picked a female superstar. Charlie picked a American indie superstar, and I picked a Japanese superstar. So it looks like we hit all the points, other than if some random elite person goes missing, which won't happen. But yeah, I mean, for sure, Tanahashi. I mean, you have people debating about whether Tanahashi or Okada are like the John Cena of WWE. I don't look at it like that. They're both really good wrestlers. And I actually had to decide between which one of them I'd want to see sign more. Just purely on match quality, I would love to see Tanahashi take on Rollins, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, like all of these people, and just that alone is enough to sell me on this signing. Even if and I don't think Tanahashi's gonna. I mean, he might end up in NXT. I really feel like that's a guy that needs a main roster deal with how much talent is up there right now.
And Hiroshi Tanahashi is one of those guys. He's won the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Championship 6 times. And he was the standard bearer in that company for a long time until Okada took over that position. And then now Tanahashi's kind of been set back to the Intercontinental ranks in New Japan. But there's no reason why he can't. He would be fresh to all the WWE viewers, to the NXT viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason why he wouldn't make a massive impact and be a title contender right away in NXT.
Absolutely.
So let's start our feuds. Who do we think this time next year? So post War Games 2020.
Okay.
What do we think the title feuds are going to be? Keep in mind, we don't think people are going to hold the title the whole way to the next year, but it's possible someone could lose the title, just disappear, and then come back. Someone could get hurt and come back in a year and win a title. So there's so many different things that could happen. Let's start with tag team. I've got War Raiders versus Street Profits. We don't have a lot of options to pick, and I'm only going to go based on teams that I know will definitely be there, but you could absolutely form a team and have them compete for a title in a year. But right now I've got War Raiders. They would be the heels going against Street Profits, with Street Profits hopefully going over to win their first title if they haven't won a title by then. Garrett?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be a little bit I'm left field guy today, I guess. I have a really weird pick. I just gotta write it down really quickly. I agree that Street Profits will probably be in the title scene. I don't know that they'll have the belts, but the way I have this listed, they do. I have a reunited DUI taking on Street Profits. DIY taking on Street Profits. Because the hints are there. It seems like the storyline they're going with is that Johnny Gargano is somehow still being controlled by Tommaso Ciampa. And I think this is the one thing that will reinvigorate that storyline between them, is them coming back. And we don't necessarily even need to see it be a permanent thing, but if they just won the titles one more time, I think, especially if they are the heels in that feud, I think would be just great, because then they can break up again, and then you can have that go into the main roster. So,
Yeah.
I like that. Charlie?
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I think War Raiders is going to hold the titles, and I think they're going to face that team that's kind of been on a couple NXTs now, Raul Mendoza and Humberto Carrillo.
Any reason why? Like, what have they shown you that?
I mean, no one really knew. I mean, Raul Mendoza's been a grinder now for a while, and Humberto Carrillo, also known as Ultimo Ninja, is pretty recent. And yeah, WWE's teasing that they might use him in the Worlds Collide tournament. I mean, I really think if they go full-fledged with them, and I'm assuming also Undisputed and Street Profits are gone.
Okay.
And I don't see Forgotten Sons anywhere near this almost ever. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with them. But Raul Mendoza, Humberto Carrillo, it's kind of like either them or like 1-2, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's go women's title feud. Garrett, I'll start with you. What do you see as the women's feud this time next year?
Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai.
Wow. Be a really good match.
Yeah.
I picked it. I was like, I want to see the storyline that comes out of this, especially if Johnny's still around, But But yeah, that could be 6 months down the road too. This doesn't even have to be the first feud. You could have Shirai pick up, I don't know. You could have all kinds of stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like,
So who's the heel? Are you saying Candice goes heel with Johnny and that's the match?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could kind of. I mean, if these all coincide with each other, then yeah, I think the idea would be DUIs reunited, and Candice is just like whatever. I mean, like, whatever. You guys are ridiculous, I guess I'll go with it. Yeah.
No, I'm down. Charlie, who do you have as your feud?
Io Shirai versus Mia Yim.
Nice.
Also a good match.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen much of Mia Yim, but I see she's hyped up a lot.
Talented, really talented.
Yeah. I've got two people we haven't even mentioned yet. I've got Bianca Belair in the middle of a title run versus Kairi Sane on her way out. I think Kairi Sane this time next year is someone that we're going to be talking about. Okay, she needs to be called up. She'll probably win the title at some point in 2019, and I think Belair and her will have a feud. Maybe they'll swap the titles back and forth a couple times, but I think Bianca Belair versus Kairi Sane is probably a feud we'll at least see at some point in 2019. So really quick before we get into the top two titles, let's talk about some call-up predictions. We've already talked a lot of Undisputed Era. We've already talked Gargano and Ciampa, and we've talked Aleister Black. So really the only one I have left for predictions, and I'll throw it to you guys, that we haven't talked too much about is this idea of Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamyn Duke all being called up at once, and possibly doing a horsewoman versus horsewoman match. I think that if we were to see WWE want to play up the horsewomen currently in WWE, that being Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, all turning and going together and turning on Ronda Rousey, I think they could maybe do an injury angle because I think Ronda Rousey's not going to be on TV as frequently as she is now. That's the report is that she might be looking for a little less dates, not crazy, but if they were to gang up on Rousey and kind of play an injury angle, and then she comes back with the other three, and this leads to a horsewoman versus horsewoman match, possibly at something like a SummerSlam, I think that it would be very, very interesting. So Garrett,
Yeah.
what are some other call-ups that you think?
So the original ones that I had was the horsewoman, Gargano and or Ciampa. I don't care which one, either or. The other one's going to come up and attack them. That's just how that works. That's like a 6 month. You wait, they're gonna other one will be there. You know what I mean? If you see one of them,
I think one of them will go to Raw, one of them will go to SmackDown.
Oh no! I mean, maybe after a shakeup, I say you call them up before any kind of draft happens on the same show, and then they end up becoming such a problem that they do what they should have done with the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn stuff, and say now we have to separate them, but you get a match out of it first.
Okay.
But anyway, the one that I have, again, left field day for me, I have Velveteen coming up.
Interesting.
Because I think he's ready. I really do. I've watched enough of his matches now, and I think what he would really need to work on, if anything, is maybe spend some more time at the Performance Center developing the character if he has to. But I think in ring he's there. Storyline he's had some really interesting storylines where people were questioning whether or not he was doing the right things, and not just saying, "Oh, Velveteen, you're dumb, you're Prince, knock off," or whatever, you know what I mean, or whatever. They were actually going after his character. You know what I mean? The feud with Black is the one I'm thinking of mostly when I go for that. Like, it was 100%. He just wouldn't even give him the time of day. Like, I love the idea of it being a feud like that on the main roster with like a John Cena or another big star, Yeah,
where like there's no respect because he's so young and unproven.
Yeah. And there's like, you're just a gimmick or something like that, or whatever. Yeah, I would really love to see that. So
I mean, hell, make his first feud against Triple H because Triple H won't give him any respect enough to call him up, and he comes up and makes a statement.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be great. He calls out Triple H in his promo, and he's like, "I can't believe it took this long. Look at this. I did blah blah." And Triple H is like, "You didn't win a title. What do you mean?"
If Velveteen says, "I'll put my career on the line. Give me one match against you. If I win, I'm on the main roster. If I lose, I'm out."
Ooh, dang.
Charlie, are any other big call-ups?
I wouldn't say big, but I figured that you had to have a woman on Raw and SmackDown. And so for SmackDown, I said Vanessa Bourne.
Okay.
I think it should, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a Lacey Evans, Mandy Rose. You just kind of.
They have to be there.
She'll be ready to go to the main roster. She doesn't really need to do much in NXT.
Call her up and see how she does.
Exactly. So,
yeah, I don't doubt that. All right, cool. So let's get back into our feuds. So now we're talking about the top 2 feuds. As far as importance, really, in the men. And then the women's feuds. Don't get me wrong. It's not that the women's feud isn't important, but right now I think NXT needs to develop more of the women because there are a lot of women that we haven't really seen all that much. So we don't know who the superstar really is going to be. Whereas with the men, we have such a plethora that it's tough. So let's start with the North American Championship. I'm going to say this is going to be someone that's going to be signed to WWE, and they're going to run back the match that took everyone's attention a few years ago. I think we're going to see Ricochet versus Will Ospreay for the North American Championship. And possibly my original prediction was going to be War Raiders against these 2 men as a tag, going for tag titles, which I think also is a definite possibility. But I don't think WWE would be able to help themselves if they had both of them on the roster to run it back, let them burn the house down, and then that would be leading to one or both getting called up to the main roster. Charlie?
So I got Dominic Dijakovic holding the belt, facing Punishment Martinez. So two newer guys. I think that's where that belt's going to end up turning. They're both really tall and jacked.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, exactly. I see Dijak being the heel, taking it from Ricochet in a couple months, and then Punishment. I think he'll just get a shot at it eventually. Because
do you think Dijak just straight dismantles Ricochet?
In a way, I think they're going to have a really good match, and that'll put Dijak on the map for a lot of people. And yeah, I think that'll
be
fun.
Garrett?
Yeah, so I told you this one's going to be crazy. I have Adam Cole taking on a champion Shane Thorne.
Whoa. Okay.
Because I see them building him up already. I saw some leaks. I think that you sent, Charlie, from tapings.
No, well, those are the house shows.
Sorry, some house show stuff where they were putting him in with top stars. If that's where they're putting him, that's where they want him to be. So, especially if you're talking Triple H is involved, if he wouldn't do that, if he didn't want to take Shane Thorne and do something legit with him. I can't think of any other Australia, New Zealand area stars that are male off the top of my head that weren't like already being kind of pushed to the back anyway. The last big Australian, New Zealand star we had is no longer in WWE. So,
and Shane Thorne, he's got such a good look to him. I haven't really seen him cut promos or anything up to this point, but
he's got all the time in the world in the Performance Center to work on that stuff before he gets into a feud. So if it comes down to it, I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, that would be cool. And then let's go to the main title. Garrett, I'll keep it with you. Who do you have feuding for the World Championship? Who's the champion and who's the challenger about a year from now?
Well, see, now if I go with all of my stuff going together, some of this doesn't quite fall. But I don't know if this is going to be a year from now exactly. This will be sometime in the next year because someone's going to get called up out of these two. But I have Black versus Dream for the belt. And this time Dream wins. This time and then Dream wins the belt, and then we send Alistair up to the main or something, and then Dream goes and is champion for a little bit in the same way that Almas was. They find out he's a really good champion. Let's put him up.
Yeah. That would be awesome. I would really like that match. I mean, it was so good last time, and it was more of a story-based match last time between those two, and it was great. I would love to see a barn burner of a wrestling match between those two for the title because I think they're both capable, and they're both seen as more of the character guys than the wrestling guys. And it's not that, neither of them can wrestle, obviously. Everyone knows Aleister Black is really good too, but they're both story characters, and it would be nice to see them just go at it. Charlie?
I got the NXT champion Matt Riddle facing Keith Lee.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome, man. And we already got the story built with it as they kind of showed them coming in together as best friends. in a way. Not really best friends, but they're good brothers.
Yeah.
So,
Good brothers.
yeah, a year from now, I see that totally.
So it's funny. We all end up having a common link. We all three of us ended up kind of overlapping. I have two people that you both mentioned, but not the same match. I have a champion, Matt Riddle, once again, like Charlie was just saying, facing Velveteen Dream.
Oh, wow.
I think this year we could easily see Matt Riddle Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream are both on the rise so much in the fact of everyone has seen what Velveteen Dream can do. And he's only going to get better, and he's so young. But NXT, the viewers don't quite know how good Matt Riddle can get. And I think that this is obviously not a Rock Austin level, but I think both of these guys are going to be so good that they're going to be head and shoulders above everybody else in NXT this year. And to cap off a year, that's the feud I want to see. I want to see both of these guys going back and forth, trade the belts back a million times for all I care. I want to see this feud go on for 6 months. I just think it would be great.
I'm down with that.
So that's the state of NXT. Patriots are coming on like negative 1 minute ago. So I got to go watch that. Got to watch the Patriots lose to the Chargers, and then the Saints are going to beat the Eagles later. So me and Rick are going to cry.
Go Pats.
And like I said yesterday, congratulations to the Saints on winning the 2019 Lombardi Trophy. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys like our predictions. If you think we're idiots, please put in the chat why I'm an idiot. Go ahead. Well, man, no, I'm trying to think of some random guy. Well, man, no, I can't even think. Shane Thorne in your top 5. All right, but anyway, I'll see you guys back with another State of NXT in a year from now, 2020. Garrett, what do you plan to be doing in 2020?
Hopefully, I'm writing news by then. Be good.
Charlie, where do you hope to be?
Calling the police.
Interesting.
Solid.
Interesting.
Solid yet firm.
Yeah, I'll probably be in jail, to be honest. All right. Murder. I don't know why. Just accidental. It's going to be like I'm going to be wrongly charged with murder. Like the neighbor's going to get murdered and they're going to charge me for it.
I hate when that happens.
That's a raw deal right there. All right. Like and subscribe. Click the bell so you know when we go live. And we'll see some of you in 2020 if you don't watch the weekly videos. And we'll see some of you guys next week or who knows, maybe in a day or two. See ya.